Hello, this is Studmuffin1986, and today I'm going to be doing a guide on how to play with the Tier 5 German destroyer Stug 3G. So, with some of the more newer players that might have just come from the Hetzer and got the Stug, might be thinking, what the heck just happened? The Hetzer was so much better, the Stug doesn't even have any armor whatsoever. How in the world is this tank any better than the Hetzer? Well, hopefully through this guide and teaching you how to play with this tank, it'll show you that this tank is meant to be played with a little bit differently than the Hetzer. So when going in and looking at the type of tank it is, you will see from the upside down triangle that this is a tank destroyer, meaning the role that you're supposed to be fulfilling on the battlefield is a supporting cannon role, meaning you're either going to be looking for sniping positions that you can remain undetected and get great angles and shots upon enemies when your light or medium tanks are out detecting the enemies for you. Or if you don't have any areas of good sniping spots, then you're moving with your team, being able to be a supporting cannon in that way. So, when understanding what not to do with this tank, let's first take a look at its armor. As you can see with this thing, this is practically a paper tank. You do not want to be putting yourself in a position at all to be relying on your armor. Even when angled quite a bit, this thing has basically zero protection. When you put yourself in a position to rely on your armor, you're just practically going to get wasted. You can see here, even with a Tier 4 cannon, you have a little bit more protection, but for the most part, you're still practically a paper tank. I mean, any tank is really not going to have that hard of a time penetrating this tank. So with knowing this, you want to be putting yourself in positions that are either to remain undetected, in the background, being able to just rain down fire upon the enemy from great sniping positions, as you know, any shot you take with this thing is just going to get, absorbed, and you're going to get killed really fast. So when going in and looking at the gun depression, it really isn't that bad at a -7. Being able to give you some good angling on your cannon when you're up higher, and especially the gun arch for moving it side to side really isn't that bad either. So I mean, you've got a lot of good cannon flexibility with this tank, which is really nice. And especially when popping up over around hills and things like that, just kind of like this, you can see from the upper part of the Stug that it is got armor slanted enough that it is protected, but anywhere lower is just too weak. So when going in and looking at the fully upgraded Tier 6 cannon stats, it's really not that bad of a cannon. Not very high on the overall alpha damage, kind of average. 187 for max penetration, 10.53 for rate of fire, which is really good. Also with its aim time 1.7 and dispersion of 0.33 also being really good. So I mean, this cannon is really built to be able to accurately get targets from a very far distance away, which is how you want to be playing with this tank. So if you're wanting to save on credits, I would still highly recommend getting the multi-purpose restoration pack. If your ammunition, a couple HE rounds for those quick base shots if they're about to cap and you don't know if you have a clear shot. The rest just as standard AP shells is fine. And for equipment, the camo netting to help you remain undetected while sniping, along with the gun rammer and also the fan to help increase gun performance. And then I personally don't use any provisions just to help save on credits since they're so expensive. And then just some last things here just before going into some test driving along with some gameplay is, as you can see here with the lower tier cannons, I don't use them. Very low penetration, decreases your rate of fire, aim time, dispersion, everything goes up. Yeah, it may look good with the higher alpha damage, but you're going to have to get a lot closer to your targets in order to be able to guarantee that you can hit them, and by doing that you're putting yourself at risk to relying on your armor more. So looking at the acceleration, it really isn't that bad. It can really get up to its top speed here just within a few seconds, enabling you to quickly get to effective sniping position. or get you out of trouble if you're in a bad spot. So in terms of sniping and positioning, it's always good to put yourself behind bushes and plants just like this to keep you well hidden while sniping. And then also you can see here just the really good traverse turning speed it has, so you won't have to worry as much about getting circled to death by medium or light tanks. So now that we've actually gone over all the stats and review of the entire tank, let's go into some gameplay to show you exactly how to play with this thing. So here we are at the Lost Temple, just kind of waiting for the timer to let us begin. And what I'm doing is I'm making sure I'm keeping myself within a parameter of being in the center of kind of all my teammates. Some off to the left, some off to the right. As you can see, my friends are moving forward and doing their job by detecting the enemy, and now I'm getting myself in a good sniping position just to rain down fire upon them. So this is where the camo netting equipment comes into effect, is to really try to help you keep undetected from these tanks while shooting at them, decreasing your visibility by, I believe, 15%. So that you can just keep firing upon them. Now when being detected, immediately get out of the open, get yourself in a more protected position. Then just, saw that this was the guy that detected me, and he's my main threat right now of just getting him taken care of. Now as you can see here, we're ahead 3-0, so I'm going to be a bit more aggressive. Go ahead and move up on the enemy. No point in just staying there in that same position. But now we can close in, put a little bit more pressure on them, and then take care of the rest of the guys they have here. Here I'm just putting myself in the high ground position, which is a basic military tactic, allowing their armor to be not as effective, shooting downward at them, and just took care of that Churchill here. But other than that, going back to the gun handling, you can really see just how accurate this cannon is, how good the penetration is. So it's very a very good cannon in terms of handling. So just finishing off this poor Matilda here, I'd say one of the things that really helped us out in this battle is we had a team that was doing their job. The medium and light tanks were fulfilling their roles, and when everyone does that, you're a really effective team. So just as a disclaimer here, just because you end up fulfilling your role doesn't necessarily mean that'll ensure you winning all the time. World of Tanks Blitz is a team effort game, and by fulfilling your role will definitely help increase your chances of winning. But it's pretty much impossible to win 100% of your games. Nobody in World of Tanks Blitz has more than 1,000 games and has a 100% win rate. Not even more than 100 games and has a 100% win rate, just because it's not possible. So now we'll go into a second game here, just to show you a little bit more of how to play with these tanks. I'm going to quickly move forward into a good sniping position, once again using the bush here as keeping me undetected. Hetzer's moving forward, a little aggressive there. You'll see him just basically get wasted, being, he completely left the side of his armor exposed to the enemies off to his left, and yep, there he goes. So that's a perfect example of why you want to be situationally aware of your surroundings on what's going on. So not a lot going on over here on the right. I'm going to, be situationally aware and quickly get over here to the focus on the left-hand side to help out, since there's way more targets to shoot at. I'm still undetected, so they have no idea I'm here. But once again, you can just see how accurate this cannon is. The reload time is just great. This guy's not even moving, which, if you're taking hits, just get out of there. Try to get behind some type of cover. Just turning around and staying out in the open, trying to figure out maybe who's shooting you, is not a good idea. Just try to get some kind of cover. So once again, I'm detected here. I'm immediately trying to back out, hide my tank again, since I know I've got practically a paper tank, and any shots I receive, I'll end up taking the hit. So moving forward, once again, you know, scores 4-2. Going to be a bit aggressive here, just keep pounding rounds into them. This, you know, I'm relying on my armor, which is not putting me in a very good spot, and you'll see why. I almost get basically wasted here, but just trying to eat these enemies' hit points up as fast as possible as they keep exposing themselves out in the open here. So yep, I'm right here, I'm relying on my armor, and you can see that I'm just getting beat up really bad. And that is why with this tank, if you're ever putting yourself in a situation where you're having to rely on your armor, then you can see why and just how you would get wasted so quickly. So anyway, that's basically it. Feel free to comment, watch some of my other gameplay videos to get an idea on some other tanks. If you like this review and this guide on how to play with this particular tank, please let me know, and if there's any other tanks you'd like me to do this for as well. Thank you, this is StudMuffin 1986, and take care.